Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to our midweek program. On behalf of ISKCON of Atlanta, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for your astounding attendance today. Welcome to the final part of our 9 processes of Bhakti series. We've had 9 amazing weeks so far of our local speakers and also some special speakers from abroad speaking on these 9 processes. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of them for taking time out and giving us their association. Today, we are extremely honored to have His Grace Amarendra Prabhu to address us on the final process of Bhakti, Atma Nivedanam. Amarendra Prabhu doesn't really need an introduction. I think we all know him very well. He is a world-renowned speaker and his classes and kirtans are loved by all. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for being here today. Before we begin our class, I have a kind request to everyone. If you're able to turn on your cameras, please turn them on so we can increase the intimacy of today's program. And if you would like to catch up with our other classes in the series, you can check out our YouTube page, but we will include that in our announcements later on. So without further ado, Amarendra Prabhu, thank you so much for being here. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, dear Karthik Prabhu. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Before I begin, I want to offer my obeisances to all the previous speakers in the series, all the senior wonderful Vaishnavas who have served so many wonderful classes. Karthik Prabhu sent me the playlist of all the different speakers, and I want to say with lot of sincerity that I could muster in my heart, I heard all the classes in the series because I wanted to know, because I have never been part of the midweek program, so I wanted to know how the classes are presented and how the topics are dealt with, what is the duration of the classes, how much presentation, what is the depth of the presentation. So to know, I heard the classes of all the senior Vaishnavas, starting from His Grace Adi Gadadhar Prabhu, everyone, Shyam Bihari Prabhu's class, Geeta Mataji's class, Shikimaiti Prabhu's class, everyone's class. So thank you, Karthik Prabhu, for kindly sending the playlist. Thank you for including me in this series. My obeisances to the management of the temple, my obeisances to the organizers of this midweek nourishment program. Because why wait up to the weekend to, get high in Krishna consciousness? Why not have a midweek booster injection in the middle of the week to rejuvenate us in Krishna consciousness, especially now when we're all socially distinct and distant, slowly catching up, but it's been a long time that we have been waiting. And Zoom has helped us to zoom into the teachings of the scriptures. So I want to thank all the participants, all the devotees on the call who are spending their invaluable time on this call. It's 7 o'clock here, which means it's 4:30 a.m. in India, and we have a few devotees joining at 4:30 in the morning. I don't know what to say about your sincerity in hearing Krishna Katha, but however, there is a point of caution. The scriptures say, Vaishnava mukhodgiranam putam harikathamritam shravanam naiva kartavyam sarpochishta yatapayah. That Krishna Katha is like milk, but when it is touched by the tongue of a snake, it becomes poisonous. So one should never hear Krishna Katha from someone who is not practicing it properly, or someone who is not a Vaishnava. So you still have chance to continue with other things, and especially at a time when you can probably go deeper in your japa. Thank you everyone for kindly joining in. I will quickly chant the Mangalacharana prayers, and it's perfect time to start. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarne. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. So we have been discussing different limbs of bhakti, and now we have reached to the point of Atma Nivedanam today. As we all understand, Atma Nivedanam is considered to be the final limit of ultimate surrender. In fact, it has been defined very wonderfully in the scriptures as Krishnaya Arpita Dehasya Nirmama Anahankritehe Manasas Tat Swarupatvam Smritam Atma Nivedanam. Atma Nivedanam, or complete surrender, full surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna, has been described and defined in the Shastras as Krishnaya Arpita Dehasya. When the body, Deha, is Arpita, is offered in the service of Krishna. But not just that, Manasas Tat Swarupatvam. Even the mind must be offered in the service of Krishna. So sometimes we serve Krishna because we have to. We chant our rounds because we have to. We perform deity worship because we have to, or ideally we should. We are duty bound. Either we are fear bound that if I don't do it, I may have reactions, or we are fruit bound, which means if I do it, I'll get this, and if I don't do it, I won't get it, and I want that fruit, and by doing deity worship or chanting the holy name, I will get a material gain. So let me just do it. So either we could perform bhakti with fear as the impetus, that if I don't perform bhakti, the reactions will come and catch me. And then Krishna bhuli jeev bhoga bancha kore nikatastha maya tare jhapatiya dhare. Then Maya will catch me. I may have to go to hell. So I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to suffer. Therefore, let me take shelter of Krishna. This could be one impetus. This is coming from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Chaitanya Shikshamrita, where he mentions 4 levels of impetus. There could be 4 different reasons why we are serving Krishna. And the fourth class, the last, is fear bound, where we are induced by fear. We are threatened by fear. Oh, if I don't take shelter of God, I will have to burn in hell. If I don't take shelter of God, I will have to suffer in the future. I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to suffer in the future. Let me take shelter of Krishna. This is one way of approaching him. Definitely better than not approaching, but this is 4th on the list. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says 3rd on the list is to have some fruit, some material desire, some hidden ulterior motive, that if I serve Krishna, I will get this, and I want that, and therefore let me serve Krishna. So let's say tomorrow I get it from Lord Ganesh, or if I get it from some godmen, I may as well go to them, because I'm not interested in who's giving me, I'm interested in what I get. That's the 3rd. 2nd is duty bound. So 4th is fear bound, 3rd is fruit bound, 2nd is duty bound. Duty bound means I have got this human form after so many lifetimes. Durlabham manusham deham dehinam kshanabhanguraha. I have got this human form after such a long time. Kamala jaladala jeevana talamala bhajahu haripada nitire. Govinda Das has written a very beautiful song. That this human form has been achieved after such a long time. So it's my duty to give my breath in the service of He who has given me the breath. Why should I give my breath for those who have not given me the breath? Why not give my breath in the service of that Krishna who has given me the breath? So that is duty bound, out of responsibility, feeling a sense of onus and responsibility. I must do it. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that's again still not the first class form of devotion, the expression of love. The first class and the best is selfless service for the pleasure of Krishna, for his pleasure, out of love and affection. Let's say how Mother Yashoda serves Krishna. It's not that, oh, if I don't serve Krishna, I will go to hell. It's not that, oh, if I serve Krishna, I will get what I want. In fact, Mother Yashoda thinks, what can Krishna give me? He's my child. I fulfill his desires. That's her level of devotion. And third, or second, going from the bottommost, 4th, 3rd, and then the second class is duty bound. Mother Yashoda is not saying that, oh, I am the mother, it's my duty to serve Krishna, so let me serve him. That's again not her impetus. The first and the best expression of devotion is out of affection. Oh, my Krishna. Aham and mama, mamata is there for Krishna. Possessiveness with attachment and love. So Sharanagati or Atma Nivedanam, Atma Samarpanam has been defined as Krishnaya Arpita Dehasya, not just giving the body in service, because body can be given even in the fourth. You can give your body in service in the fourth, in the third, in the second, and in the first. But the qualifying word is Krishnaya Arpita Dehasya. Everybody is giving or offering their body in service. But Manasas Tat Swarupatvam. The mind must also be absorbed. The mind must desire. There must be a desire to please Krishna. Like, for example, we find two contrasting examples in the Bhagavatam. One we see of Varahadev and Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha takes his club and slams on the arm of Varahadev, and Varahadev roars in happiness because he's come to taste chivalry and fighting. So when Hiranyaksha slams the club, Varahadev feels a lot of joy. And ultimately, we say devotion is about pleasing Krishna. So Hiranyakashipu did please Varahadev. On the flip side, on the coin flip, let's say on the other side of the spectrum, in the 10th canto, we find the Damodar Leela, where Mother Yashoda and Damodar are put as the central, sharing the central stage in this pastime. And Krishna wants to continue drinking Mother Yashoda's breast milk, and she puts him down to run to save the milk on the stove. And as we know, Krishna bites his lips in anger that I left the ocean of milk for her, and she's leaving me to collect some, let's say a liter or two of milk on the stove. Krishna gets angry. Mother Yashoda displeased Krishna by putting him down to the floor and going to protect the milk on the stove. Krishna was put down on the ground. Please forgive me. Mother Yashoda put Krishna down from her lap on the ground, on the floor, to save and protect the milk on the stove. So if you contrast these two examples, we see Hiranyaksha and Varahadev and Mother Yashoda and Damodar. We see Hiranyaksha pleased Varahadev. And on the other side, Mother Yashoda did not please Damodar. So according to the definition of devotion, that devotion means to please Krishna, we should say that Hiranyaksha is a devotee because he pleased Varahadev. And Mother Yashoda should not be counted as a devotee because she displeased the Lord. But however, although the body was in service, it pleased Varahadev for Hiranyaksha. Manasastat Swarupatvam, the mind was not desiring to please. It's not that Hiranyaksha desired to please Varahadev. Varahadev, out of his own causeless mercy, anyway got pleased. But Hiranyaksha did not make an attempt that if I slam the club on his arm, the Lord will be happy, and to please him is the goal of my life. This wasn't the thought process. But on the other hand, we see Mother Yashoda. She put Krishna down, so she displeased him. But the intention was, if I go and save that milk on the stove, I can make so many milk sweets in the future, and that will please Krishna. So Krishna was displeased, but her intention of putting Krishna down was to please him. And therefore, Mother Yashoda is considered to be the crown on the body of devotion. So therefore, Krishnaya Arpita Dehasya, not just the body being in service, Manasas Tat Swarupatvam, the mind must also be absorbed, and the mind must desire to please. So point number one, the body must be absorbed. Point number two, the mind must be absorbed. All these three are needed. And the third point, Nirmama an ahankritehe. Nirmama an ahankritehe, which means two things. Nirmama means as we serve, we should not ask anything for ourselves. And an ahankritehe means we should not walk around telling people that I did it. Or nor should we expect that people should recognize me and acknowledge me. Once done, forgotten. Only Krishna remembers. This is the mood. So point number one, Krishnaya Arpita Dehasya. The body must be engaged, not that just I sit in the cave and say, yes, I have love for him, but I must express that through my senses. Rishikena Rishikeshasya Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Senses must be used in Krishna's service. Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatartham Upayunjatah Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhi Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate Prapanchikataya Bhaktya Hari Sambandhi Vastuna Mumukshubhi Parityago Vairagyam Phalgu Katyate. Rup Goswami in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu has very beautifully explained. Prapanchikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastuna. We should attach ourselves and serve in things which are related to Krishna, and detach ourselves and not serve in situations which are not related to Krishna. This is proper detachment, and not some dry renunciation where there are opportunities to serve and we shy away from it. So point number 1, devotion is where the body is used. Point number 2, devotion is where the mind is absorbed without distraction and the mind desires to please. And point number 3, nirmama anahankritehe. As the result of that service, nothing is asked out of Krishna, that I am doing this for you, please give me this in return. Nor is there a sense of I did it. Anahankritehe. And if these 3 things are there, Krishnaya arpita dehasya nirmama anahankritehe manasastat swarupatvam smritam atmanivedanam. These 3 things, when they fall in place in the life of a devotee, then it is called atmanivedanam. What can be said about atmanivedanam? Even if there is no atmanivedanam, Krishna is ready to reciprocate. Damstri damstra hatom lecho haram iti puna punaha uktvapi mukti mapnoti kim punaha shraddhaya agrina. It has been described by Haridas Thakur in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that when someone said haram, the Supreme Lord is ready to hear ha Ram, oh Ram. So then what can be said of someone who wants to say ha Ram? Before we get to Atma Nivedanam, even without faith, even without intention, even without any thought process, even without any knowledge, even without any inclination on that path, if somehow or the other there is some mention of the Supreme Lord, the Lord is ready to give himself to such a person. Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam jigamsaya payadapya sadvi lebhe gatim datri muchitam tatonyam kamva dayalum sharanam brajema. It has been said in the 3rd canto Srimad-Bhagavatam that Putana has been mentioned there in the 3rd canto to make a point, as a reference, that Putana did not desire to please Krishna. She came in fact for the opposite, the other side of the spectrum. She had the opposite inclination and the opposite conditioning. She came to kill Krishna. But how glorious is Krishna? Aho bakiyam stana kalakutam. This sister of Bakasur came smearing very deadly kalakutam, poison, on her breast to breastfeed Krishna and kill him. What did Krishna do? Lebhe gatim dhatrim uchitam tatonyam. Krishna made her the eternal associate in Vatsalya Prem. And he didn't think that he was being merciful. Uchitam. He was thinking that this is proper for her. In fact, this is all that I'm able to do. Although she was a sadhvi, she was not a sadhvi, she was not someone who was on the path of devotion, still Krishna offered her lebhe gatim dhatrim uchitam tatonyam kamva dayalum sharanam brajema. Then what can be said about his mercy? When someone is coming to kill him, he is ready to make that person his mother. Someone is saying haram, he is ready to hear haram. So what can be said of someone who desires to genuinely approach him with Atmanivedanam or complete surrender? Therefore, Uddhava also says in the 11th canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam, Tasmad bhavantam anavadhyam anantaparam sarvajñam ishwaram akunta vikunta dishnyam nirvinnadhi ahamuhe vrijinabhitapto narayana narasakha sharanam prapadhye. That my Lord, what can I speak about you? Tasmad bhavantam, you, anavadhyam, you're completely pure and I am impure. He's contrasting. You are pure, I am impure. Tasmad bhavantam anavadhyam anantaparam, and you are unlimited. I am very limited. You are vibhu atma, I am anu atma. And not just that, sarvajñam, you know everything. I don't even know how my body works. I don't even know who I am. Ishwaram, you control even the demigods. I can't even control the graying of my own hair or the falling of my teeth. Sarvajñam Ishwaram akunta vikunta dishnyam. You are filled with joy, and wherever you go, you only bestow joy. And me, I am filled with sorrow, and wherever I go, I share my sorrow with people. This is the contrast in our personalities, my Lord. And nirvinnadhi, I am always restless and distressed, and you are always transcendental. Vrijinabhitapto, I am roasted by distress, my Lord. Still, Narayana, you are Narayana, I am Nara. This is the difference in our position. Still, Narasakha Sharanam Prapadhye. You are coming and giving your hand of friendship to me. What can be said about your mercy? So therefore, the Lord is very eager to accept us. Even before Atma Nivedanam. What to speak of Atma Nivedanam that Bali Maharaj offered? Yanna Mata Pita Bhrata Suridah Chadishanti. The Supreme Lord went and became a doorkeeper at Sutal Lok, where Bali Maharaj went. What to speak of Atma Nivedanam? Even if someone doesn't desire, still the Lord is ready to accept him. Hanuman says in the 5th canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam to Sri Ramachandra, he says that, my Lord, na vak, na buddhi, na akriti tosha hetu. I have nothing to please you. I absolutely have nothing to please you. Na vak, I have no words. I'm not a good speaker. Na buddhi, I don't have any intelligence. Buddhimatam varishtham, the most intelligent Hanuman is saying. Na vak, na buddhi, na akriti tosha hetu. I am in the body of a monkey. I don't have even a beautiful body to give pleasure to your eyes. I don't have intelligence to explain. I don't have words to articulate. Na vak, na buddhi, na akriti tosha hetu. Tayya visrishthan apino vanaukasam. Na janma noonam mahatana saubhagam. He says, I don't have aristocratic birth and I don't have bhajan from past life. Na vak, no proper articulation ability. Na buddhi, I don't have intelligence. Na akriti, I don't have a beautiful form. Tosha hetu, to please you. And where do I live? I live in the forest, without clothes, eating fruits. Still, my Lord, tayya visrishthan apinau vanau kasam chakara sakhye bata lakshmana agrajaha. Oh Sri Ram, how can I repay you? You are the son of Dasharath and the brother of Lakshman, the wife of the husband of Mother Sita. And look at me. I have no qualification. And still you put your hand out first to befriend me. So dear devotees, Atma Nivedanam first starts with understanding the position of the Supreme Lord. How he is ready to surrender himself to us. So Atma Nivedanam, one meaning of Atma Nivedanam is where the Jivatma surrenders to the Paramatma, right? We are Atma, where we surrender ourselves. That is Atma Nivedanam. But we also have to understand the word Atma Nivedanam. Atma can refer to Paramatma also. The Supreme Lord is ready to surrender himself to the living being so that the living being can surrender himself to the Supreme Lord. This is the loving mercy of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, in the 10th canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam, it has been mentioned, Ka panditastwada param sharanam samiyat bhakta priyat rita gira suridah kritajnat sarvan dadati surido bhajato bhikaman atmanam api upachaya pyachayo nayasya. That, my Lord, only a fool will not surrender to you. You have so many sweet qualities. Bhakta Priya, you are dear to all of us. Rita Gira, your Satya Vratam, Satya Param Trisatyam, Satyasya Yonim Nihitam Cha Satye, Satyasya Satyam, Rita Satya Netram, Satyatmakam Tvam Sharanam Prapanna. You always keep your word, unlike people of this world. You genuinely love the soul, not the body or the circumstances or the skills and the capabilities that we have. You genuinely love us, point number 1. Point number 2, you always keep your word and promise. Point number 3, Surida, you are a friend who always is there in need. You're always there. At the time of death, when even our own body leaves us, what to speak of our family, you are still there with me. And Kritajnat, you always remember, even if someone offers a flower or a fruit or a leaf, over lifetimes, you remember. Not just that, my Lord, Atmanamapi. Sarvan dadati surido bhajato bhikaman Atmanamapi. You're ready to even sell yourself to the person who serves you. King Kulashekara also mentions the same thing. Nate na purushottame trijagatam ekadipe chetasam. He says that who is a master in this world who equals you, my Lord? The boss of this world, they will keep you at service till the time you bring them profit. As soon as you start bringing them loss, they will fire us. And even when they keep us, they make us work twice as much as they pay us. Let's say if they pay us X, they will make us work for 2X so that they bring in profit. We bring in profit for them. And when we retire, that's it. The money stops. And how much ever we please them, they will never give themselves in service to us, right? They still remain the boss. They still remain the mentors. And never, oh, never will that be a time when they will invite us home and tell us, you live with me in my house. King Kulashekara says, my Lord Sri Krishna, Your heart melts like when butter is melted. When it's heated, it starts melting. That's how your heart is. Your heart is like butter, because what you eat. Krishna keeps eating butter, so his heart has become butter-like. And when the fire of devotion starts heating up the butter of Krishna's heart, then it melts. My Lord, even if someone offers you one leaf or flower or fruit, you reciprocate 1,000,000 times. And you remember what they do over lifetimes. And they may do just one thing, but you multiply that and make it like a mountain and reciprocate. And the best is, you become their servant. In the Bhagavatam, it has been described. The Lord is always serving his devotees, all the time. He is Virasananugamanastavana pranaman snigdheshu pandushu jagat pranatim cha Vishnu bhaktim kuruti nripatis charanarabinde. That he's always serving the Pandavas, whether it is as the chariot driver for Arjuna, or whether it's like a night watchman, or let's say a guard outside the tent of the Pandavas, running with a cup of water behind Yudhishthir Maharaj. So Krishna, you're a boss who is eager to serve his servants and devotees. And at the same time, the best quality in you is that you pull them home to Goloka Vrindavan, which is your home, and you want your servants to eternally live with you. So therefore, Atma Nivedanam, the seed of Atma Nivedanam starts off with first understanding, whom am I planning to give myself to? How great is he? How much he loves me? He is not a judgmental God who's sitting up there trying to pass judgment or punish me. He is more eager to love me than I'm eager to love myself. He is more eager to have me there with him than I'm eager to personally go to his lotus feet. So Atma Nivedanam starts off with understanding his position. And once we understand his position, then we are ready to wholeheartedly offer ourselves to the lotus feet of such a Lord. This is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Manasa deha geha jo kichu more arpilo tuva pade Nanda Kishore. O Nanda Kishore, O son of Nanda Maharaj, after understanding your heart, that you're a secure source in whom I can invest my faith, in whom I can invest my love and affection. You will not bring in my life any heartbreaks. You will not cheat me for anyone else. You will never leave my hand in the middle of the night. You're always there with me. The Paramatma never leaves the Jiva. Even when the Jiva uses the energy of the Paramatma to speak and blaspheme the Paramatma is still there in the body. He's there in the body of monkeys. He's there in the body of pigs when the pig jumps into the sewage drain. Krishna loves us irrespective of our external position. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Manasa deha geha jo kichhumo. Whatever I call myself or my possessions, my Lord, whether it's my mind, whether it's my body, whether it's my home, my relatives, arpilu tuva pade Nanda Kishore. My Lord, wholeheartedly I offer all of my possessions, including myself, at your lotus feet. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita also we see Maharaj Prataparudra, such a great king. He was like the emperor at that time. He had everything with him. He had money, he had position, he had following. Everything that we cry and try and die for in this human form, Maharaj Prataparudra had all of that 1,000,000 times. But still, he was very disappointed because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not agree to meet him, would not agree to give him darshan. So every time he would try, Mahaprabhu would refuse. And the reason given would be that Maharaj Prataparudra, you're a materialist, you're a king, you're a materialistic person is considered to be in connection with this world. Nishkinchanasya bhagavad bhajanon mukhasya param param jigamishor bhavasagarasya sandarshanam vishayinam atha yoshitanam ha hanta vishabhakshanatopya sadhu. The Bhagavatam describes for someone who wants to make spiritual advancement, they have to keep away from the opposite sex and they should keep away from materialistic people. Asat sanga tyag ai vaishnava achar stri sangi ek asadhu krishna abhakta ar. To keep away from the opposite sex, to keep away from duplicitous devotees, and to keep away from those who are not interested in devotion. These are the three no's as far as association is concerned. So Maharaj Prataparudra used to be denied on the condition that he is not Stri Sangi and he is not a sadhu, but he is a bhakta. He is not a devotee, or he is not in heart, a simplified path of renunciation. He's a materialist. He's the king. He's always moving around with opulence. So Mahaprabhu said, I will not see him. So Maharaj Prataprudra became so desperate. Kaviraj Goswami says, Papi nicha uddharite tumar avatar, jagai madhaite ho karila uddhar. You are called Patita Pavan. You have come in this world to uplift everybody, including Jagai Madhai, but you will not uplift me. Prataparutra chhadi karibe jagat nistar, ei pratigya kari kariya chhe avatar. Oh Mahaprabhu, please tell me, have you come in this world with this promise that I will uplift everybody except Maharaj Prataprudra? Is this the promise that you have taken? Why won't you give me your mercy? Prataprudra chhadi karibe jagat nistar, ei pratigya kari kariya chhe avatar. Tomar pratigya mora na karibe darshan, mora pratigya toma vina chhadi ba jivan. That if you can take a promise that you will not give me darshan, then I can also take a promise that I will not live without you. Yadi she Mahaprabhu na pai kripadhan, kiba rajya, kiba deha, shaba akaran. Kaviraj Goswami writes that Maharaj Prataprudra started shouting, Yadi she Mahaprabhu na pai kripadhan. If I don't get the mercy of Mahaprabhu, kiba rajya, kiba deha, saba akaran. Having possessions, having this body, everything becomes useless. So the things that we aspire for, Maharaj Prataprudra denied it completely. He said, the only thing I want is the mercy of my Lord, without which everything becomes zero. I don't want anything else. I just want my Lord. So this is the mood that Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Manasa deha geha joki chumar. Whatever I have, it is actually a curse if I don't get Krishna. And if Krishna is ready to accept me, I am ready to offer all of this at his service. Eta shuni sarva bhauma haila chintit. When Maharaj Prataprudra said, all that I have is useless. I don't want any of this. I just want the service of my Lord. When he said this, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became shocked because Rajar Anurag dekhe hoila vismit. He was shocked that how can a king who's moving around with ministers and wealth and responsibilities in this world, how can he have so much affection? It is, it is rare. Attachment to the Supreme Lord comes with detachment from this world. Many times you see the sages would go into the middle of the forest or on top of the mountain or in a cave, and then they have darshan. They meditate for a long time and then they have darshan. But Maharaj Prataprudra, he's in the middle. He's in the center of all enjoyment. And he says, Kiba Rajya, Kiba Deha Sava Akaran. What is the use of this kingdom? What is the use of this body? I don't want anything. I just want my Lord. Atma Nivedanam. I just want that one pointed. I'm not even seeing the bird. I'm seeing the eye of the bird. I just want his darshan. Eta shuni sarvabhauma hoila chintit. Rajar anurag dekhe hoila vismit. Seeing the attachment of Maharaj Prataprudra, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became astounded that how is it possible? How is it that anybody can have so much attachment to the Supreme Lord? Bhattacharya kahe deva na karo bishad. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told Maharaj Prataprudra, Deva na kara bishad. Oh dear king, don't lament. Tumara Prabhu avashya haibe prasad. Definitely Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will have mercy on you. Why? Teho prema dhin. I know Mahaprabhu. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is saying, Teho prema dhin, tumar prem gadhatar. You are having very deep attachment and he's having very deep quality of being bound by attachment. Avashya kariben kripa tumar upar. Therefore, definitely he will shower mercy on you because you have the spirit of Atma Samarpan. You're ready to give everything to the service of Sri Mahaprabhu, Sriman Mahaprabhu. And Sriman Mahaprabhu is all that you aspire for. So this attachment is the first quality, symptom that we see in someone who is who possesses Atma Nivedanam or complete surrender. Evam sandarshita hyanga harina bhritya vashyata swa vashenapi krishnena yasyedam sa ishwaram vashe. The Damodar Lila also describes that Mother Yashoda bound Krishna. She had Atma Nivedanam. Atma means body. Atma means soul. Atma means mind. And for Mother Yashoda, her soul was completely bound with Krishna. Her body was running behind him and her mind was always thinking about him. So the best example of Atma Nivedanam has been shown by Mother Yashoda. Her body was sweating. Drishtva parishramam Krishna kripaya asit swabandhane. Swamatuhu swinnagatraya vistrasya kabarasrajah drishtva parishramam Krishna kripaya asit swabandhane. That Mother Yashoda's body was also sweating. The hair bun had opened up. The flowers were all on the floor. Her sari was loosening. Her mind was in distress. Who is going to teach my child? My child is going to become a serial thief. And her heart was overfull with love. So seeing this, Krishna was bound. Harina Bhritya Vashyata. Krishna loves those who have Atmanivedanam. Krishna surrenders himself to those who surrender to him. Therefore, Nemam Virinchi Nabhavo Nashri Rapyanga Samshrayah Prasadam Lebhire Gopi Yattat Prapa Vimuktidat Nayam Sukhapo Bhagavan Dehinam Gopika Sutah Jnaninam Cha Atma Bhutanam Yatha Bhakti Matamihe. The same chapter, Damodar Leela, Shukdev Goswami says, Nemam Virinchi na bhava, neither Brahma nor Shiva, na Shri, neither Lakshmi, api anga samshrayah prasadam lebhire gopi. None of them got the fortune of binding the Supreme Lord, because none of them are as surrendered as much as Mother Yashoda. Therefore, Nayam Sukhapo Bhagavan Dehinam Gopika Sutah. The Jnanis cannot catch Krishna with their knowledge. The yogis cannot catch Krishna with their skill set. But Mother Yashoda, being a cowherd gopi, ran behind Krishna with a stick in her hand and caught Krishna with her devotion. So Krishna is controlled by those who are having Atmanivedanam, those who are completely surrendered with attachment. Therefore, it has been described that if we like to control things in this world, why not we think of controlling the biggest person, Krishna? Controlling Krishna is the greatest opulence. Why control managers? Why control a family? Why control a nation? Why control an organization? Why not control the creator of all creators, Krishna, by the path of bhakti? And therefore we see Ekadashi is for one day, Julan Yatra is for 5 days. All other festivals are for either half a day, or let's say Ramchandra's appearance we celebrate, the fasting is for half a day, Nashinga Chaturdashi up to 3/4 the day, Krishna Janmashtami up to night, and Pandav Nirjala Ekadashi next morning. So in this way we celebrate everything for a day or two, or maybe Bhishma Panchak for 5 days. But only Kartik Mas goes for 1 month. It is to proclaim out loud 1 month of significance for Atmanivedanam, for someone who has attachment to Krishna. Completely. This is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, my Lord, in complete attachment, I give myself to you. This is the first quality. We defined Atmanivedanam with 3 characteristics. We said the body must be absorbed, the mind must have the desire to please, and the third we said we should not ask anything in return, and we should not do it for name, fame, recognition, or any distinction or acknowledgement from others. That was the definition. And then after that we mentioned about Krishna's nature of compassion and love. And then we started off with the first quality of Atmanivedanam, that is deep attachment. We gave examples of Mother Yashoda and Maharaj Prataparudra, that if we have deep attachment, then Krishna becomes very eager to reciprocate. The second quality of Atmanivedanam, someone who has complete surrender, is the desire to remember and serve Krishna at all times. Very, very important. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayit Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Yacha Ahaitukam. That devotion to Krishna is the mother which gives birth to knowledge and renunciation. That is true. But how should that devotion be? Ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. Savai pumsam parodharmo yatho bhaktir adhokshaje ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. It must not be moving according to our mood swings, and it must be completely selfless. We do it on a good day when we feel good, and then we don't do it for the next 5 days. That is not the symptom of Atmanivedanam. Sometimes we may have tears chanting the holy name and, let's say, hearing Hari Katha, but for the next 5 days we are happily forgetting Krishna. So that is not the sign of someone who has Atmanivedanam. Consistency. At all times, in all places, my Lord, let me remember you and serve you. Kechit kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayana agham dhunvanti karsnena niharam iva bhaskara. In the 6th canto Srimad-Bhagavatam, when Parikshit Maharaj is asking, in fact, he's been horrified looking at the hells. uh, the different kinds of hells that have been defined by Shukdev Goswami. Seeing that Parikshit Maharaj is really horrified. So now he asks Shukdev Goswami for the solution. He says, what is the way to get out of hell? How do I get out of hell? So Shukdev Goswami gives different paths. He gives by cultivating knowledge, by becoming a jnana yogi. He says about karma yogi. He speaks about just being a yogi. And none of that impresses or inspires Parikshit Maharaj. Because a jnana, someone on the path of jnana, he wants to hold Krishna with his memory, with his intelligence, with his cultivation of knowledge and reading the Shastra. Someone who is a karma yogi, he wants to achieve Krishna with his abilities, with his capabilities. And someone who's a yogi wants to catch Krishna with his skills, with his expertise, with his perfections. But a devotee doesn't desire any of that. He desires to bind Krishna with affection. Let me remember him and let me sincerely serve him. So when Shukdev Goswami tells Parikshit Maharaj, yes, you can escape hell by Jnana Marg, Karma Marg, Hatha Yoga Marg, etc. Parikshit Maharaj is not very impressed because he has already heard 5 cantos of Srimad-Bhagavatam. So he knows. And he has had darshan of Krishna in the womb. So he can be cheated. So he says, no, none of this is going to work. And at that time, Shukdev Goswami says, Kechit kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayana agham dhunvanti karsnena niharam iva bhaskar. He says that the only process, oh dear king, you're right, none of this will work. The only process is devotion. And devotion means to constantly remember Krishna. And when you remember Krishna, the sun of devotion rises in the horizon of our heart, and the darkness of avidya is all broken to pieces. Just like we see in the night sky, all night long, the night sky collects a lot of darkness. But in the morning, just by little rays of the dawn rising sun, the whole sky has been painted red by the rising sun. So similarly, our heart is like the night sky, which is dark over lifetimes because of avidya. But little remembrance of Krishna, if the sun of little remembrance, constant remembrance of Krishna, even with little sincerity, irrespective of time, place and circumstance, if that is the spirit, I want to remember him, I want to serve him, then even a few rays from that sun will actually dispel all darkness. Therefore, our only prayer to Krishna should be, my Lord, may I never forget you. May I never forget you. This is the only thing. Aham hare tava padaika moolam dasanu daso bhavitasmi bhuya manasmaret asu pater gunamte grinhita vak karma karo tukaya nanaka prashtham nachapara meshtham nasarva bhaumam narasadhipatyam na yoga siddhi apunar bhavam va samanj sattva virahaya kangshe ajat paksha iva mataram khagastanyam yatha vatsatara kshudartha priyam priyaiva vyushitam vishanna manora vindaksha didrikshate tvam मम उत्तम श्लोक जनेषु सख्यम संसार चक्रे भ्रमतस्व कर्मभिः तन्मायात्मात्मजदार गेहेषु आसक्त चित्तस्य ननाथ भूयात्. Very, very important. 4 verses from the Srimad-Bhagavatam that Vritrasur chanted on his departure bed. It's found in the 6th canto, Srimad-Bhagavatam, chapter 11. On his as he's departing, Indra is killing him. Vritrasur prays, my Lord, I don't know where I will be born. Please give me the benediction that may I never forget you. This is the only thing we should ask for. May I never forget you, my Lord. May I never forget you. This is the main thing that we should ask. May I never forget you. Wherever, in whichever situation, may I never forget you. Naham vande tavacharanayor dvandvam advandva heto kumbhi pakam gurumapi hare narakam napanetum ramya rama mrudu tanulata nandane napirantum bhave bhave hridaya bhavane bhavayeyam bhavantam. King Kulashekara also says, my Lord, I am only worshipping you because may you always remain in my heart. May I never forget you. Even in the Ishopanishad, the same prayer has been asked. Vayor anilam amritam athetam basmantam shariram om kritosmara kritam smara kritosmara kritam smara agne naya supatarayasman vishwani deva vayunani vidwan yuyudyasmat juhurana meno bhuishtamte nama uktim videma. That, my Lord, may you never forget the small services that I have done, and may I never forget the mercy and the grace that you have showered in my life. Krishna Tvadiya Padapankaja Panjarantam Adhyaiva me Vishatu Manasa Rajahamsa Prana Prayana Samaye Kappa Vata Pittaihi Kantavarodana Vidau Smaranam Kutaste. Atma Nivedanam also means, my Lord, at the time of, there should be an anxiety at the time of death. I don't know if I will be able to remember you. Prabhupada loved this verse so much of King Kulashekara that he sang it on the tape. That, my Lord, may the royal swan of my mind intertwine itself to the lotus of your feet today. Because I am healthy and fit, I can remember you. But I don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. It's possible at the time of death, I may not be able to remember you. Now in this healthy condition, may I die chanting your holy names and remembering you. This should be the prayer. Even when Manigriv and Nalakuver were uplifted by Damodar, Damodar asked them, what benediction do you want? And the two sons of Kuber, Manigriv and Nalakuver, said, Vani gunanu kathane shravanau kathayam hastau cha karmasu manastava padayorna smrityam shirastava nivasa jagat praname drishti satam darshane astu bhavattanuna. That, my Lord, may our tongue always chant your glories. Vani guna anukathane shravanau kathayam. And may our ears always hear about you. And hastau cha karmasu manastava padayorna. May our tongue chant your glories. May our ears always hear about you. May our hands always serve you. And may our heart and our mind always remember your lotus feet. This is the prayer. Wherever we are, my Lord, may I never forget you. Sampade vipade jivane morane dai mama gelatuva upada bharane. Even Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said the same thing, that Sampade vipade, whether in profit or loss, whether in calamity, of pleasure or pain, jivane marane, even on the brink of death or life, healthy life, dai mama gelatuva upada bharane. My Lord, may I always remember you, and giving myself to you, I have been free from all distress. To subordinate oneself to the Supreme Lord's desire and to serve Him is the only nature of the soul. When we say Namaha, when we say the word Namaha, repeatedly we say Om Keshavaya Namaha, Narayanaya Namaha. In the Padma Puran, the word Namaha has been defined. It has been said that Ma means Aham Mameti, I and mine. And Na means no, Nivritti. So telling the Supreme Lord, my Lord, this body is not mine. I am not doing it. I am not the one who is doing it. Not my samarthyam. It is not my ability. It's not my skills. Sometimes we think with my intelligence, with my analysis, with my memory, with my abilities, with my skills, with my expertise, I can do it. This is actually a stink. This is actually durvasana. It is durvasana, which means a bad smell for the soul. The soul's natural state is to be in subordination to Krishna, to be subordinate next to Krishna, depend on Him and serve Him. And therefore, to the extent we come to that natural state, to that extent we can feel moment to moment Krishna's reciprocation. So point number one, we mentioned deep attachment to Krishna. And point number two, we mentioned prayerful mood, that my Lord, may I never deviate, may I never go through these sinusoidal cycles of my service. Let me always be steady and remember you lifetime after lifetime. Now the third quality of someone who is surrendered and who has Atma Nivedanam, Maro bhi rakho bhi jo ichha tuhar nitya dasa pratitva adhikar. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said, my Lord, now for my constant remembrance and constant service, if you don't reciprocate, or you have negative reciprocation, in the sense you bring in my death, or you make me suffer, don't think I am going to stop serving you. Sometimes we can see that if let's say we are walking on Giriraj Govardhan Parikrama, and let's say on our feet we have got something from the floor, we may try to scrape it off, but it may not go from our feet, right? We may try to scrape it off at the edge of, let's say a bench or something or somewhere, and it may not leave our feet. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, I am like that, my Lord. I am stuck to your lotus feet. Even if you try to take me off, you can try to take me off, but I am not going to leave. I am not telling you to love me. I am just saying this is one-sided. But the fact is, actually, it's both-sided, because Krishna actually loves us and we don't realize that. And when we reciprocate the love, let's say the transcendental love affair is complete. Because life is a love story between the Supreme Lord and the Jiva. And the Jiva doesn't know. It's one-sided at this point. Krishna is writing love letters to us daily just to get our attention back. And when there is Atma Nivedanam, we get those letters, we feel those emotions, and we reciprocate also. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying the third quality of Atma Nivedanam is, even if, my Lord, you don't reciprocate properly, I will still tolerate. And with more intensity, I will serve you. I know your heart. You are not hard-hearted. But let's say even if there are reversals in my life, even after serving you, I am not going to think, oh, if I would have gone to a demigod, let's say I would have gone to someone else, situation would have been better. I am sold out to you, my Lord. Without any price, I have sold myself to you. Without any price tag, I am yours. Kvachaham kitava papam brahmagno nirapatrapa kvacha narayana iti etad bhagavan nama mangalam. What to speak of tolerating the Lord's reversals? See the life of Ajamil. See how the Lord reciprocates. Someone who has never chanted the holy name, someone who does not even value or has not even heard or understood the glories of the holy name, someone who's calling out the holy name but not to the person but his son, and fourth, who has broken all scriptural principles. To such a person, Vishnu Dutas are coming. My Lord, I understand. What then can be said of someone who understands the glories of the holy name, chants the holy name all their life, and calls to you instead of the son, and stays in the Lakshman Rekha of scriptural principles? You will only bring auspiciousness. Bhagavan Nama Mangalam. If auspiciousness can be got in the life of Ajamil, even after breaking regulative principles, even after chanting only at death, wasting all his life without remembering the Supreme Lord absolutely, and calling out to his son and not to the Lord, if for such a person the Lord is ready to reciprocate, my Lord, I understand your heart. Therefore, even if you bring in my death, even if you bring in reversals, let's say my body has some disease, or I lose money, or I lose my closest family relative, I will never ask you, why are you doing this to me? Because I understand your heart. The sun can do everything. S-U-N, the Suryadev, he can do anything and everything, but he cannot do one thing. What is that? He can never bring in darkness. Krishna, my dear Lord, I understand that is your nature. Madhuram madhurebhyopi mangalebhyopi mangalam pavanam pavanebhyopi hare namaiva kevalam. I understand your heart. You can do anything and everything, but you cannot do one thing, and that is bring inauspiciousness in the life of your devotee. Therefore, my Lord, whatever you bring in my life as reciprocation to my devotion, I wholeheartedly accept it and I welcome it in my life. I will never question. This is Atma Nivedanam. A devotee who has Atma Nivedanam, third characteristic, you will never see him wobble with faith or ask, my Lord, why did this happen to me? No. He will tolerate all reversals, but go on with more ecstasy. In fact, he prays for reversals. Vipada santuta shashvat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yatsyat apunar bhava darshanam. Queen Kunti. Why? Because he understands that when happiness comes, I may have prayed for it. This is why the Lord is given. But when distress comes, I have not prayed for it. So it's coming wholeheartedly from the Supreme Lord's heart, which means it is good for me. This is how a devotee thinks. You see Gajendra, King Indradyumna in the 8th canto. What was he doing? What was his mistake? You tell me. He is there on top of the mountain. On top of the mountain, there are forests. And in that forest, there is a cave. And inside the cave, he is sitting worshipping his deity. This is the situation of King Indradyumna. He is on top of a mountain. There in the forest, there is a cave. And inside that cave, he is sitting and worshipping the deity. He didn't have any problem with following the regulative principles. What happened? Agastya Rishi came there and he had a different way of purifying him. He saw he is worshipping the deity. Generally, deity is worshipped for upliftment. But Agastya Rishi saw King Indradyumna is worshipping the deity instead of welcoming him. So he cursed him. He said, "You are so dull-headed, may you become an elephant." So King Indradyumna did not ask the deity, worshipping you is for upliftment, not for going down to animal species. So what is this? He did not think like that. He just tolerated the reversal. He accepted the reversal of his devotion with all his heart. Tato gajendrasya manobalojasam kalena dirgena mahan abhut vyayah vikrishya manasya jale vashidado viparyayo bhut sakalam jalokasa. It has been described that when Gajendra was fighting the crocodile, he was in physical pain. He was out of his homeland. He was in water. Let's say if Gajendra was fighting the crocodile on land, he would have smothered and killed the crocodile long ago. But now the crocodile had his own territory advantage, and Gajendra was being dragged in, and mana bala ojasam kalena dirgena mahan abhut vyayah. His body was getting weaker, his mind was getting weak and tired, and just when he thought he's losing, he won. Why? Because matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha. The Supreme Lord switched on the switch of remembrance. In this world, with our memory and with our intellect and whatnot, we can remember so many things. But remembering Krishna is not in the domain of the mental ability. Remembering Krishna, that ability comes from Krishna, not from us. Whenever we remember Krishna, we have to understand Krishna has helped us remember him. Matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha. When was the last time we saw an elephant call out to the Supreme Lord? It's not a natural phenomenon at all. We don't see that in National Geographic or Animal Planet, where elephants are calling out to the Supreme Lord, or any species for that matter. But Gajendra's prayers are recorded in the 3rd chapter of the 8th canto. Madrik prapanna pashupasha vimokshanaaya muktaya bhuri karunaya namo layaya swamshena sarvatanu bhrig manasi pratita pratyak drishe bhagavate brihate namaste. He is calling out to the Supreme Lord. And how is this possible? Because the Supreme Lord reciprocated. And why did the Supreme Lord reciprocate with him? Because in his previous life, he tolerated and responded to provocation with tolerance. This is the quality of someone who has Atma Nivedanam. That my Lord, wherever I am born, whatever species I may be in, even when Chitraketu was cursed, whether it is going up, whether it is in the middle planet or going down, Narayana parasarve na kutaschana bibhyati swarga apavarga naraka apitulyartha darshanam. When Mother Parvati curses Chitraketu in the 6th canto, he accepts it. He accepts the reversal. He responds to provocation with tolerance. That is when Lord Shiva glorifies him. Says that great souls like him, they can see Krishna's hand in all circumstances. They are Narayana parasarvena kutaschana bibhyati. They are never agitated and disturbed. They always see the hand of Sri Hari. Api tulyartha darshanam. They always see the Lord's hand. So therefore we see King Indradyumna, he saw the hand of Krishna in that reversal. And this is why, because he accepted without any agitation or confrontation with Agastya Rishi, he accepted it folded palms. And this is why when he became an elephant, the Supreme Lord reciprocated. Even in those reversals, there are hidden secrets of the Lord's mercy. And the final quality that we can see for those who have Atma Nivedanam, this has been also explained by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Janmo bhi moye ichha jadi tor bhakta grihe jani janmo ho mor kita janmo ho yatha tu adasa bahirmukha brahma janmi nahi asa. That my Lord, next life, even this is the 4th quality of someone who has Atma Nivedana. That my Lord, my only desire is, may I serve you, may I never forget you, and if I become a human being, give me the ability to perform bhakti. Praying for this. Always praying for this. Wherever we are. Kita janma ho yatha tu vadas. I am ready to become Kita janma, an insect. But I want to be connected with your devotee. This is the 4th quality. 4th quality means begging for association. Always begging that may I be in the right association, my Lord. This is the only thing I ask for. So first quality of someone who has Atma Nivedanam is attachment to Krishna. The second quality of someone who has Atma Nivedanam is steadiness in devotion, in remembering and serving him at all times. The third is, even if the Lord reciprocates with delay or with reversals, the ability to tolerate it and go on with more devotion and more love without having any cross question. And the fourth and the final for today is, my Lord, even if I become an insect in my next life, May I have the association of your devotees. This is the only thing I aspire for. May I have sadhu sangha. May I have the association of my Gurudev. May I have the association of very high class Vaishnavas. This is my only desire. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he asks Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya for blessings for this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Ghare Krishna bhaji mora karihe ashirvade, Neela chale ashi jena tumara prasad. That, O Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, please give me the blessings that Ghare Krishna bhaji mora karihe ashirvade. You please give me blessings. You worship Krishna at home. You please give me blessings by which I will come back to Nilachal and have your darshan. This is the only thing I aspire for. I want your association. You please bless me that I have it. So Prabhupada in that purport, he says, how is this possible? That Mahaprabhu as a sannyasi is begging for mercy from a grihastha who is Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Prabhupada says, if someone is a sincere grihastha, chanting the holy name at home and serving sincerely, they have the power to even bless sannyasis and those in the renounced order. Of course, that is not the intention, but Prabhupada says that's the power of devotion. Even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he speaks to the Kurma Brahmana, he says, Prabhu kahe aiche baat kabhu na kariha. Please don't say like this. Instead, grihe rahi Krishna nama nirantar laiva. You go home, constantly chant the holy name. Jare dekhe tare kahe Krishna upadesh. Amar agya guru hayya tare ei desh. Kabhu na badiba. If you chant the holy name and if you preach, whomever you see, if you preach, then kabhu na badiba tumar vishaya taranga. Then your anarthas will never increase. Punarapi eithani pabe morashanga. And you will meet me again very soon. So Mahaprabhu tells the Kurma Brahman, go home, chant the holy name, constantly preach, associate with the devotees, and in this way your anarthas will not increase. I will come and personally meet you. This is the blessing Mahaprabhu gives Grihasthas and direction he gives Kurma Brahmana. So we see Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself. In the song, he says, Kita janma ho yata tu vadas, bahir mukha brahma janmi nahi as. That I don't desire to be Brahma, but I desire to be an insect. That is fine. Brahma who's away from devotion, who's bewildered in Brahma Vimohan Leela is not the Brahma I want to be. Instead, I am ready to become Shivananda Sen's dog, for example. Or I am ready to become any insect in the house of a devotee. This is what we aspire for. If we get a human form, we aspire for chanting and association with devotees, hearing Srimad-Bhagavatam, preaching, constantly being in high-class association, and in this way, not letting us succumb to the lower nature or the anarthas. Tad astu me nathas bhuri bhago bhavetra vanyatra chava tirascham. This is Brahmastuti in the Srimad-Bhagavatam. Yenaham ekopi bhavat jananam bhutva nisheve tava pada pallavam. Brahma, after the Brahma Vimohan Leela, is praying, my Lord, next life, tad astu me nathasa bhuri bhaga. I will consider this to be a great fortune in my life. Bhave atra va anyatra. I could be born here, I could be born anywhere. Tu va tirascham. I could even be born as an aquatic or an animal or a bird or an insect. Just give me this blessing. Yena aham ekopi bhavat jananam bhutva nisheve tava pada pallavam. Let me have the association of one of your dear devotees by which I can serve and get your mercy. Asamaho charanarenu jushamaham syam vrindavane kimapi gulmala taushadhinam ya dustyajam swajanamari patam charitva bhejur mukunda padavim shrutimrigyameva. Even Uddhava has prayed the same thing. I am ready to become grass in my next life, but I just want the association of the lotus foot dust of the gopis. So this is the symptom of someone who has Atma Nivedana. They sincerely, they pray for a human life so that they can perform bhakti. But they say, my Lord, I may not deserve it. So wherever I go, please give me the blessing that I may serve and associate with your close devotees. And finally, King Kulashekara says, Majjanmana phalamidam madukaitha bhare mad prarthaniya mad anugraha esha eva twad bhritya paricharaka bhrityasya bhritya iti maam smara lokanatha. It's not a printing mistake, nor is it Kulashekara having a stammer in his life. He says, Majjanmana phalamidam. My Lord, this is the phala in my life. This is the only fruit of my existence. Mad prarthaniya, and I am praying for this. Mad anugraha esha eva, and this is only the blessing in my life. What is it? Twadbhritya bhritya paricharaka bhritya bhritya bhrityasya bhritya iti mam smara lokanatha. Give me the fortune of being the servant of 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 your dear servants in my next life. Which means, my Lord, may I never ever ever forget you. So anybody who has these three initial qualities we mentioned in the definition, Krishnaya arpita dehasya, nirmama an ahankritehe, manasastat swarupatvam smritam atma nivedanam. We mentioned about these three things and the four qualities. These are the symptoms that we find in someone who's completely surrendered. And finally, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, anybody who's surrendered, दैन्य आत्म निवेदन गोपतृत्वे वरण अवश्य रक्षिबे कृष्ण विश्वास पालन षडंग शरणागति होइबे जहार ताहारा प्रार्थना सुने श्री नंद कुमार. That anyone who has these qualities, only such a person's prayer Krishna hears, because they have paid the price of genuine devotion. With that, we will stop here. Thank you so much, everyone, for kindly participating and blessing us with your auspicious presence. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti gaur bhakta vrinda ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Amarendra Prabhu. Prabhu, do you have some time for a few questions?
Oh, sure, Prabhu.
All right. We already have one person who has sent a question in. Dear devotees, if you would like to ask a question, please raise your hand on Zoom and we'll be able to spotlight you and you may ask Prabhu a question. So we have one.
Can I
Yes,
suggest something, Karthik Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, of course.
Would it be okay if they can write it on the chat and then maybe you can read it out?
All right, that sounds good.
Because in the interest of time, that is always better, because sometimes so the questions are a little longer, but when they have to type, it's always kept crisp.
Okay, no problem, Prabhu. Dear devotees, if you could follow Amarendra Prabhu's request, if you have a question, please type it out in the chat box and I will read it out for Prabhu to answer. We already have one question. This is from Shiva Krishna, and it reads, for adult men, it is difficult for us to have love like Radha and Yashoda, but it is easy to have a relationship with Krishna like a friend and a servant. In that case, how to do Atma Nivedanam, and how do we have more innate love like Radha and Yashoda?
You can have love like the father, Nanda Maharaj. You can have love like Balaram. The spiritual world is not just filled with gopis, it has gopas also, and elderly men also, grandfathers also. So it all starts with servitude. We can't jump there, because even when we see Bal Gopal, we may remember the childhood of our own child. We may remember how plump my child looked when he was 6 months old. Oh, that's how this Gopal is looking. The purpose of bhakti is, even when we see our child, we should remember Gopal. Not that when we see Gopal, we remember our child. So it starts off with dasyam. It starts off with Krishna dasyam, servitude. So we serve according to Bhagavad Gita. Manmana bhava madbhaktau madhyajimam namaskuru mame vaishasi yuktvavam atmana matparayana. Prabhupada has given a very nice way by which we can engage our mind, by which we offer obeisances, by which we every day offer patram pushpam phalam toyam to Krishna, by which we worship the deity, by which we offer bhoga and take prasad only, by which we can hear the pastimes of Krishna. By this process, we will slowly see that our heart gets cleansed and the inner nature of affection will automatically rise. Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shunvatam ye nirvishya karna vivarai haratonga tapam rupam drisham drishimatam akhilartha labham. We see in the Bhagavatam, Rukmini Devi did not do anything except hear about Krishna. Parikshit Maharaj did not do anything except hear about Krishna. And the process of hearing is so powerful that vayam hi dhanyatama loke guropi kshatra bandhava vayam piba muhutvatta punyam Krishna kathamritam. That it can reignite and rekindle the fire of affection for Krishna just by letting the Shuddha, pure Krishna Katha enter the ear hole. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, by all these processes, and Yoga Abhyasena Tukaunteya, by regular steadfast practice, we will get there. We have to have our eyes in the sky, but we should have the feet on the floor.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. We have another question from Savita Bali, and it says, how do we internalize prayers of Srimad-Bhagavatam and songs of Sarangata?
Even when we chant the Shikshashtakam, especially when we come to na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. It's very easy to say it. But we know, and Krishna knows, that it's not true at this point. We work 10 hours, 12 hours a day for dhanam, and in the morning we are saying na dhanam. It's kind of a joke for the self and for Krishna. But we are telling Krishna that I recognize this is the highest principle. I am not there yet. But maybe someday I will get there. You please bless me that I will get there. Janam, Sundarim, Kavita. I maybe look for the opportunity to interact with the opposite sex, or I, let's say, look for an opportunity to be acknowledged and glorified at the moment. But I understand that is not the highest. So we have to pray that I am saying these things because Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said it, Mahaprabhu has said it, Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj have said it, in purified consciousness. So I understand it's the highest. I may not be there. You please bless me. I am just doing lip service at this point. I agree, and you also agree that. But by your blessing, hopefully that lip service will become heart service someday. So my Lord, I may not live it at this point, but you please bless me that someday I may realize. So in that way we pray.
Thank you, Prabhu. We have a question from Abhinav Rawat, and it reads, does Krishna test devotees in the starting stages of bhakti?
Krishna never tests, but Maya tests at all stages of bhakti. Krishna doesn't want all these tests. He wants to take us on his lap and embrace us. That's what he does, moment to moment as Paramatma. But Maya Devi just wants to make sure that we are not a nuisance to Krishna. Just like for a great person to go there, there's always screening, right? So the great person may or may not say screen, but he may say, well, let him in. But the person says, no, we'll just check for, if he has any arms or ammunitions or any knife or any gun. So Maya Devi wants to check. Dhanam, Janam, Sundarim, Kavitam, anything. Oh, you can't go. You have to take all of that off. But there's one way. If the person there starts shouting to the VIP inside, look, I am related to you. Look what they're doing. They think I don't know you and you don't know me, but we are closely, intimately connected. But they're checking me as if I'm an outsider. If you shout like that, the VIP may come out and say, oh, just let go. He's my cousin brother or something like that. That's all. That's all bhakti is about. Daivi hesha gunamayi mama maya dhuratyaya mameva ye prapadyante maya medam tarantite. That's all that's bhakti. Till the time you don't call out to Krishna and say, you belong to me, I belong to you. Look what your security agents are doing. Till the time we don't do that, the security agents will test us. But then when we do that, he comes out. And when he comes out, Maya Devi gets off. His Holiness Bhakti, Shashinandan Maharaj gives a very beautiful example. He says, let's say you go to your friend's house and the dog doesn't recognize you. There's a dog there, doesn't recognize you, starts shouting and jumping with its canine teeth. All that you have to do is tell your friend, calm your dog down. He thinks I'm an outsider. Just tell him that I'm your friend. And then the friend comes out and calm down, he's my friend. And then the dog sits. So Shashinandan Maharaj says, Maya is like that. She's like the dog who's just guarding Krishna. All that you have to do, come to Krishna, who's your friend, and tell him, can you calm the dog down a bit? The dog thinks that I am an intruder. So when Krishna comes out, then Maya Devi, Jaha Krishna taha nair mayer adhikar, Krishna surya sama maya hai andhakar. So that's all. So does Krishna test? He doesn't, but his material nature does. Till the time we don't call out to him, she will. And when we call out, she doesn't exist anymore, because Maya means that which is not.
Thank you, Prabhu. We just have about two or three more questions, and they're pretty simple. Kartik Pradhan Prabhu has asked two questions, and in summary, he's said that in a previous class, you have mentioned that there are two slokas that we should be reciting every morning, and if you could repeat what are those two shlokas that we should be reciting every morning. And his second part of his question is how would you suggest to best memorize the shlokas efficiently and fluently, and to recite it in the best way possible too?
So the two verses are Jayati Janani Vaso Devaki Janmavado. This is found in Canto 10, Chapter 90, Text 48. That's the first verse. And the second verse is Naham Vipro Nacha Narapatir Napi Vaishyo Nashudro. It's the Bhut Shuddhi mantra. And both of this were chanted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Madhya Leela in front of Jagannath. So you can find in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Those are the two verses. And how to memorize verses? Well, we always get good at something that we practice. There is no shortcut. There's absolutely no shortcut to anything. Now, it's like me asking Karthik Kripa Prabhu, how is it that you sing and play the harmonium so beautifully? For those who haven't heard, our Karthik Kripa Prabhu is a very beautiful devotee who sings very nice, sweet kirtans for Krishna. So it's by practice, right? It's by practice. There are those who are blessed, and then there are those like us, we have to practice. So if we practice forgetting, that's what we get good at. If we practice neglecting the scriptures, that is what we get good at. If we practice being inattentive in chanting, let's say we practice inattention, we practice distraction. Every day, let's practice. I'll pick up my beads and, browse Facebook. I'll pick up my beads and talk. I'll pick up my beads and read at the same time. I'll pick up my beads and have phone calls. So I'm practicing inattention. I'm practicing distraction. Guess what? I get good at it. I get so good at it that it's almost impossible for me to be attentive. So we get good at something that we practice. If you practice cooking, all of you may get good at it. I'm a gun case. I'm too poor at the kitchen, but generally whatever we practice is what we get good at. And same with verses. Prabhupada said we should memorize verses because it authenticates our presentation. And Prabhupada said we should be like lawyers quoting laws from the law book. This is why we have the shlokas. Even when Valmiki Muni chanted the first verse, Yat krauncha mithunadekam avadhi kama mohita, in the Valmiki Ramayana, it is said that he had shoka in his heart looking at the death of the male crane bird. And from the shoka in his heart came the first shloka. So for us, it is not that deep. All the shlokas are already there. We don't have to be like Valmiki Muni, have shoka in the heart and emit shlokas out of our mouth. We have everything in our scriptures. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So the more we read, the more we practice, the more we understand nicely. Not just by heart or memorize it like a parrot, but understanding what the words mean. What the words mean. What is the significance of the verse? What are the lessons from each verse? And what is the overall take home? And then we practice it. And we use it also. We call up some devotee friend and we say, I read this. And initially, you can just look at the flashcard and keep saying it. You have 5 minutes before lunch prasadam is ready. Pick up your flashcard and just go through it. That's it. You have 5 minutes before you take on a bus or a train. Take it up and just see it. You have 5 minutes before you hit the bed. Take up your flashcard. Do it for like a month and you see, you will have that verse in your heart. The more you use it, the more you have it. If you don't use it, you lose it. Very simple. So it goes good even with shlokas. You have to use it in the classes. You have to use it with the friends, even in communication. And the more you do that, even in colloquial communication and conversations, you will see shlokas will come in the mind. So you will now get the blessing of seeing the world through the scriptures. Of course, I'm not saying out of experience, but great souls say that you can see. So by practice, that will happen. So today is a good day to start. 4:30 in the morning. Oops, it's 5:45.
Prabhu, do you have time for a few more questions? Or
Sure.
Okay. So we have a question from Kunj Sachideva. And in summary, they are asking, in the Damodar Leela, you had mentioned in your class about how Mother Yashoda went to tend to the milk and left Krishna, and he got very angry. Her intention was to make sweets for him. And Krishna, knowing the internal intention of Mother Yashoda, even though he knew she was trying to do something good, which is making sweets, why was he still so angry?
Because Krishna did not know that she was going to make sweets out of it. Krishna is God outside Vrindavan. But in Vrindavan, he is not God because he's completely covered by Yogamaya. If Krishna knows that Mother Yashoda is going to make sweets, then Krishna knows everything. Krishna also knows that when I fight my friends, they're going to win or I'm going to win. Then what's the point in even having friends and going through a sport? In Vrindavan, God gives up his position of godhood. Shakale jagate more kore vidhi bhakti brajobhav paite nahi shakti aishwarya janete shab jagata mishrit aishwarya shitila prem nahi mora prit chirakale nahi diye prema bhakti dan prema bhakti bina nahi jagater avasthan prema rasa niryash korite ashwadan rag marg bhakti loke korite pracharan apani karimu bhakta bhave angikare apani karimu bhakti shikhamu shabare. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in this world to give this love by which God will forget himself. Because everywhere, when you approach God, he remembers he's God. When you go to Uttishta, Uttishta Govinda, Uttishta Garudadvaja, Uttishta Kamala Kanta, Trailokyam Mangalam Guru, Venkateshwara knows that he's God. Tava Kara Kamala Varena Kamadbhuta Shringam. Nrsingadev knows that he's God. But Krishna on the lap of Maya Yashoda, he doesn't know what's going to happen next. So that's when God gets excitement, because he doesn't know what's going to happen next. This is why Vrindavanam Parityajya Padam Ekam Na Gacchati. Krishna does not want to leave even one step out of Vrindavan, because it's the most exciting land where love covers Krishna and Krishna forgets. Radhika Amara Guru Ami Shishya not. Krishna says the devotion of my devotees is my teacher, and I am their disciple, and the way they make me dance, that's how I dance. This is why he got angry.
Thank you, Prabhu. Our next question is from Shashikala Janakiram, and they say, I do not have any knowledge on the scriptures. When we are chanting Om Keshavaya Namaha, Om Narayanaya Namaha, I heard from someone that women are not supposed to chant Namaha. Can you please help me understand if this is true, or is this as a misunderstanding?
If it has the name of the Supreme Lord, then there is no problem. But if it is a Vedic mantra, which is long enough with other bija mantras, etc., then there may be regulations. But to chant Om Shri Keshavaya Namaha, you can, no problem. If it has the name of the Supreme Lord, no problem. Mantratas tantratas chidram desha kalharaha vastutaha sarvam karoti nishchidram anusankirtanam tav. The Bhagavatam describes if the name is there, then all the rules are flipped. So you don't have to worry.
Thank you, Prabhu. We just have two more quick questions, if that's okay. Shubham Tripathi has asked, why does wrong things happen with good people and devotees?
You will have to get to the closest ISKCON temple possible, and you have to register yourself to the Journey of Self-Discovery course. They will explain to you very nicely with PowerPoint slides over 7 days on the basic crash course of Bhagavad Gita. And on day 3, after day 2, which is Does God Exist? Day 3 will be Why Bad Things Happen to Good People. So it's a long seminar and beyond the scope of today's discussion. But if you register, there are many devotees who do it even online. You will be getting more satisfactory answer than the time limit that I've been offered at this point.
Thank you, Prabhu. And we just have one last question, and this is from Swagat Raut, and it reads, Prabhuji, I am struggling with chanting due to non-devotee association, as we are dependent on them, as I am only a devotee, I'm the only devotee in my family. How are we to maintain our enthusiasm and conviction living in non-devotee association?
Like Vibhishan. Vibhishan lived in Lanka between Surpanakha, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and all of these dysfunctional family. He had Ravana on one side and Kumbhakarna on the other side, and Surpanakha on the other side. So much happening in Lanka. But he lived like the tongue lived between the teeth. You see? The tongue lives between the teeth, and the teeth are always biting on the tongue, but the tongue never bites the teeth. None of our tongue ever bites the teeth. But the teeth always, you can see, bites the tongue. The tongue doesn't complain. The tongue doesn't blame. The tongue doesn't criticize. The tongue doesn't hold grudge, nor does it leave the mouth. But it continues to do its service of giving taste to the living being. So living wherever we are, tolerating, chanting the holy name, reading Srila Prabhupada's books, hearing classes online, and doing the best that we can without holding any malice against anyone. Krishna will make arrangement. If we have this mood, then even being in Lanka, Sri Ram will give darshan to Vibhishan. And if this is not the mood, we could live in Ayodhya, but we may end up becoming Manthara.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. That will be our last question for today. Thank you so much for such a wonderful class and such amazing answers. You've kept us all riveted and in deep attention to every single word you've said. Thank you for being here today. We are really appreciative. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining us. We're going to be moving on to the next part of our program now. We have just a few announcements that we'd like to make. Given that this is the end of our series, this is the end of our 9 Processes of Bhakti series, we'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of our speakers over the past 9 weeks, namely His Grace Adi Gadadhar Prabhu, His Grace Sikhi Mahiti Prabhu, Her Grace Geeta Mataji, His Grace Shastakrit Prabhu, His Grace Sachipran Gaura Hari Prabhu, His Grace Shweta Soro Prabhu, and His Grace Shambhi Hari Prabhu, and most of all, today, our speaker today, His Grace Amarendra Prabhu. Each of them have spoken on one of the 9 processes of bhakti, and these classes have been reposted to our Facebook page and our YouTube page under ISKCON Atlanta. So if you'd like to rewatch it and also rewatch today's class, you can find them on those pages. Given that this is the end of a series, we are excited to announce our next series, which will be beginning on June 30th, which is the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan Dham. We'll have more information within the next few days, so just stay tuned to our social media accounts and WhatsApp groups for that. Coming up this Sunday, on June 20th, we have our most auspicious and most special festival here in ISKCON of Atlanta, Panihati. We have a full program starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and we will be streaming it on both Facebook and Zoom. If you would like any more information on start times and schedule, once again, you can stay tuned to our WhatsApp groups and our social media pages. Just a few other announcements regarding Panihati. For those who are interested in sponsoring a pot of chipped rice, just a quick background on what it is in case you don't know. Along with the pastime, we make pots of chipped rice with different flavors, and these flavors fall under categories of different nationalities. We have sweet pots, savory pots, we have pots in Mexican cuisine, Indian cuisine, Italian cuisine, everything you can think of. So if you would like to sponsor one of these pots, please get in touch with us on our social media pages, namely our Instagram page and our Facebook page, and you can directly message us and we can give you more information on sponsoring these pots. And if there's any other questions you might have about our stream, you can contact us there as well. Sorry, give me 1 second. Coming up, we also have on June 20th the disappearance day of Sri Baladev Vidyabhushan, and also on June 21st we have Pandava Nirjala Ekadasi. And here via our Linktree page, you can access all of our social media accounts, our website, and our YouTube page. Just via this one link, you can find all of these pages and websites via one click. And also, just to highlight, our YouTube page has recently began, and all of our classes from both our midweek program, our Sunday program, and our festivals are on there. So please check it out and subscribe. We'd like to end today's program, as we do with all of our programs, with a request for prayers, namely for His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, Her Grace Governor Leela Mataji, the doctors fighting COVID-19, and anyone else we have not mentioned. Please send your prayers to these individuals for their speedy recovery and improvement in their health. And we'd like to end off with chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for their benefit together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare
Thank you, dear
Hare.
devotees, for joining us once again on our midweek program. We won't be having a midweek program next week, as we will be celebrating Panihati, but on June 30th, you can look forward to our next series, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan Dham. Thank you to each and every one of you for joining us on both Zoom and Facebook, and we hope to see you on Sunday and for our future programs. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.